Wait, yeah.
Hello, guys, and welcome to Sport Intellect Podcast. We are here after a great win for India. Actually, it's good to see that India is back in the T20 form. Probably not the best of the T20 teams out there, but definitely a win that India will savor. With me, Abel and Sanjeet. Welcome, guys.
Hi,
Thank you.
Jared.
Well, guys, first of all, what is your take on how good has this win done for India's confidence when it comes to the T20 format?
Shall I go first? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, it's of course a win is a win. Any day you will take a win, right? No matter how it comes. If it's by one wicket, one run. After all, you get that win, and the confidence is on your side. But what I would have really loved to see is India taking up challenges. Here we are looking to win bilateral series. That's not a good approach, especially in a World Cup year. Don't forget, we have a World Cup in 8 months from now in Australia, and probably I would love to see India getting tested in different positions. This is the best time to test yourself, right? Not when you're 5 games away from World Cup or 3 games away from World Cup. Now it's actually get into those positions like batting first, get yourself under pressure, put a score on board. That's what I want to see from Indian team, especially in T20 cricket. I know in one day cricket we are really good. We are still in a settled position in one day cricket, but T20 cricket is somewhere we have struggled over the years. If you look after 2007, we have not even won a single T20 World Cup, and we have struggled in that format absolutely, and we've not been able to adapt to the demands of T20 game as well because we talk about the template in which other teams play. We talk about other teams are tactically more astute in terms of T20 cricket, but that's what I feel as a team we should actually put ourselves in different positions, especially when it comes to T20 cricket and test ourselves just before the World Cup won't be the right idea. Now is the right time. I hope from second T20 we bat first, look to score at least 200 runs, and then probably ball under pressure in due-ish condition.
Sanjit, what do you think your take on the match and how the confidence factor plays into it?
First of all, I'm not very happy. I'm especially not happy with Ishan Kishan's performance because this is not a track. I can imagine the wicket stuff, but 35 or 42 deliveries is never acceptable. If the wicket stuff, I can take it. This was a highway. I mean, if Rohit Sharma takes a little while and then scores big, you can understand. But Rohit Sharma takes two balls to get off, you know the wicket's good. When you're giving space to Rohit Sharma and he's just going for it, you know the wicket is good. When you bowl one ball to Surya Kumar Yadav and he knows that he can take it on, after the second the ball bounces, you know the wicket's good. So first of all, I'm not very happy because as an opener, you can't afford this because he should know his competition is Lokesh Rahul, and this is not even in a competition with other three contenders after him. If it would have been somewhere around maybe 60 in 42 balls, it would still not be Lokesh Rahul's competition.
Yeah.
The only thing going his way is he's a left-handed batsman. Rohit Sharma likes him. That's it. I have what my views are somewhere down the line. Rohit Sharma feels that he would need a keeper to open or some sort, and Rishabh Pant does not fit the number 4 slot because Rishabh Pant is expected just because he keeps and he's an aggressive batsman. Media and people sometimes tend to put him on a pedestal and expect him to be of something like what an MS Dhoni was, but that will not happen. So somewhere I feel Rohit Sharma has always liked Ishan Kishan, and Ishan Kishan has performed too to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And Surya Kumar Yadav now is irremovable from the number 5 spot because he is finishing more games than even Ishan Kishan or even Lokesh Rahul has or even Rishabh Pant ever did. So Surya is irreplaceable.
He's
Hardik
not
Pandya's
your
bowling
best.
has been a concern, and he looks at Venkatesh Iyer as someone who can bowl for him. And
Yeah.
Venkatesh Iyer, with a few quick wickets, Venkatesh Iyer can stabilize the innings too. Venkatesh Iyer can really hit the ball hard too. So I already see Rohit Sharma really giving that 5 and 6 spot to those two, and he even said it yesterday that while I go to the T20 World Cup, this is not the time to experiment. We'll identify a group of players because we don't know who will be injured, but we'll identify a group of players and we'll make sure that we play them till the World Cup comes. And if injury comes, then our only responsibility is to make sure that these backups are match ready. So I
Yeah.
feel he just wants Ishan Kishan to have as much match practice as Ishan Kishan can, because Lokesh Rahul also is not a person who can sit out. So either Lokesh Rahul comes on at number 4 and Ishan Kishan, or else Ishan Kishan goes down to number 4 and Lokesh Rahul opens. I see this Ishan Kishan innings, this subpar Ishan Kishan innings as a threat to Rishabh Pant's T20 career. Also, as far as our bowling is concerned, I feel, I mean, I won't go really hard on them considering they gave over 60 runs in the last 5 overs. That is a wicket where you're supposed to go for that much, especially with that West Indian batting. I was actually out for a walk and I asked my friend to check the score and it said 74 for 4. And I said, oh, is Pollard out? He said, no, he's not coming yet. As if Pollard is not coming even after 4 wickets, that is some very good batting. I checked out Crick Buzz. Batsman number 10 in that list was Fabian Allen. And Jaren was in the last show talking about blind hitting power and Fabian Allen's batting.
Yeah, I
So
mean
if
that's
that
why this season is so successful, right?
exactly. So you're supposed to go for runs. I will not be hard on the bowling. Ravi Bishnoi, I've spoken about him before. I really like Ravi Bishnoi. Keeps it tight in the air, has a certain pace, doesn't spin it much, bowls more googlies, bowls as many googlies as leg spinners bowl leg spin and bowls leg spin as other people bowl googlies. But no
Yeah.
problem with it. A bowler's a bowler. Your job is to not give runs and take a few wickets. He did that, and because of this dippy line his ball holds, I think the West Indies had a problem even reach to that ball while going down towards it. I'm more than satisfied with the bowling. A few things, of course, will have to change because they haven't been the smartest bowling group today. But they
Yeah.
would have been restricted for about 15-20 runs more, but 15 runs lesser. My bad. But in terms of batting, not happy with Ishan Kishan. Very happy with Rohit Sharma, but in all honesty, he didn't have any other choice. Also, he had to play that way to let Ishan Kishan have his time. I would say though that Virat Kohli didn't look that off color Virat Kohli for the last couple of matches. He at least looked like he was pushing for runs. Not the way he was pushed for when he was at his peak, but he came out with a slightly fresher attitude. So I'm seeing a good score every now and then. Also the fact that now Rohit Sharma has overtaken him to be the second highest run getter in T20s, now
I think
that should
that's
light a match.
changed now. That's it was in the those while Rohit Sharma was batting, he overtook him. Then Virat Kohli overtook him. They're very close.
And the second that happened, guy got out.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, but then it felt like Kohli was pushing a little harder today, and he was looking slightly more fresh. Very happy with Surya Kumar Yadav, one of my favorites. I've said this before. Venkatesh
Yeah.
Iyer, I really like the way he bats, and also I was really excited to see him because this is going to be his home ground from next month onwards. So yeah, so you have to. The man played half an IPL and made Shubman Gill leave the franchises. So this was very exciting to see that what happens when you actually come on to play on their home ground. This was a very good wicket to bat on. It didn't
Yeah.
matter. I think Pollard had a few issues with the ball getting wet. That's something I would like to ask her about. If the ball is getting wet, and if a 6'6" West Indian is not able to hold it properly and release the ball, I think the ball should have been changed. It wouldn't have made a difference to the result, though. To be honest.
Yeah.
That's actually an interesting take. I mean, we obviously saw a lot of, I think, I mean, the best way to put this is we saw a lot of players who went really well for the auction. We have been speaking a lot about them, not actually putting in the kind of performances you expect would justify that price tag. Obviously, this match isn't at all what the IPL teams have gone by, and it is not something to go by in the future as well. But first, me, I mean, some of the points we talked about now that we started the talk discussion on Indian batting. I think what stood out for me was the way Surya Kumar Yadav and Venkatesh Iyer, held the ground towards the end. Things were getting kind of towards West Indian side, even though the batting and the balls and runs, ratio was still 50-50. What do you guys think of this as a pair for the World T20? Sanjit spoke about how Rohit Sharma has not looked to experiment. So, Sanjit, I'd like to start with you. Do you think we look at Surya Kumar Yadav and Venkatesh Iyer as our finishers?
Abel was just having this conversation that Abel said he would much rather prefer, on Hardik Pandya in place of Venkatesh Iyer. But I feel I would too. I would not disagree with that. An informed Hardik Pandya is comparable to very, very, very few people around the world. So and Hardik Pandya sees an off spinner, his eyes light up. He sees a leg spinner also, his eyes light up. And that's practically 30 runs in 2 overs. So anybody would want to have him. But the
Mm.
fact is, being more practical and seeing what people want, I feel Rohit Sharma is willing to have a few more options. I think he just feels that instead of him or Virat Kohli bowling in the nets, would much rather have just somebody else. He wants his number six to bowl. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
He wants his number six to bowl because who are the other players in the lineup now?
I
It's
have an
going to be Ishan Kishan.
interesting. I have an
He's not
interesting.
bowling.
Can we have Ravindra Jadeja batting at number six for India in T20 cricket? But he
No.
does have a Chennai Super Kings really well, and now he's much more improved player. He's finishing games off. He has won us very so many matches batting at number six as well. So why don't we have Ravindra Jadeja batting at number six, offing you with the ball, and probably then from there on you can have a Deepak Chahar batting number seven, then probably Shardul Thakur at eight, then your spinners.
Although I feel Jadeja's done extremely well, I just feel that when it comes to really quality bowling, Jadeja has done well to hit the odd bad ball out, and every now and then, very often, in fact, he's had a pretty good cameos. But then Jadeja still always takes those 6-7 balls sometimes to just get in, and it's better when he does that. Where if Jadeja's called in the 18th over or the 19th over and there's 35 required, he's done it on a couple of occasions. But as somebody who watches sport, I would have much rather bank on a Venkatesh Iyer than a Ravindra Jadeja. Because I feel in terms of when a quality bowler's up or when a Hazelwood is bouncing into you, I would much rather have Venkatesh Iyer on strike than a Ravindra Jadeja at this point. Also, Ravindra Jadeja will bring off spin to the team. Venkatesh Iyer brings medium pace. And Rohit Sharma, I feel, is specifically looking for somebody who will bowl medium pace for him. That is one thing. I also very seriously think that Bishnoi might just be threatening Chahal's place in the group
Totally.
because I mean I don't think Chahal is having the best of days. Also the Ambani family. Neeta Ambani is already in her temple, and Akash Ambani sent his analysts to the shrink. He like, dude, if you let me pay 15 more above 15 crores for this man, he's paying an 80 strike rate. This cannot be
Well,
possible.
that's actually
Yeah.
interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
me
True.
and Abel were watching this match, and we realized that Rostam Chase had gone unsold, did really well against Ishan Kishan, who had gone for 15 crores.
Hmm.
Again, this is not a match to go by, but still.
This is absolutely not a match to go by. But Ravi Bishnoi is someone who's done well time and time again, and he has had lesser off days than Chahal has in the last year and a half or so. Consistently, I actually, in fact, don't remember when he's had a bad over here and there, okay, but I don't remember him going for the 55 runs or 60 runs and batsman waiting for him to come and bowl. Not happened. No,
Hmm.
I mean people have taken a swing. They do that to everyone, but he's not. Nobody's been able to hit him for 3 overs or 4 overs in a match. Not happened. So I already see Bishnoi slightly threatening Chair's place. I feel that's a good thing to have. I see Kuldeep Yadav coming back. Of course, eventually. I see Rohit Sharma likes Kuldeep Yadav. He likes leg spin. And Rohit Sharma, in terms of a captaincy, is very similar to an MS Dhoni. MS Dhoni loves his spinners. Rohit Sharma also loves his spinners. He is willing to give 45 runs in 4 overs and take 3 wickets. If Kuldeep can do that, I see Kuldeep coming back. And
Hmm.
being a left-arm leg spinner, I can see Bishnoi and Kuldeep playing together, or even for that matter, I can even see even Chahal and Kuldeep for that matter. But I feel Chahal, will have to pull up his socks as far as that is concerned. I don't see
Hmm.
Venkatesh going anywhere though. If it would have been Virat Kohli as captain, the previous series would have been an experiment to check how Venkatesh can or cannot. And the next time Hardik Pandya would have been injured again, only then would have Venkatesh be called. But this will not be the case with Rohit Sharma. If you feel that the man needs 10 matches before going into the World Cup and needs to face 3 teams, he will play all 10 games. The only person I feel in question could be Rishabh Pant.
Yeah.
Yeah, Abel, I'll come to you. I mean, Venkatesh Iyer is obviously a batsman who can ball a bit, and Ravindra Jadeja has always been seen, although in recent past he's changed that sort of narration, but he's always been a quality bowler who can bat a bit. So, would you prefer, which one would you prefer in your team? Considering you're going to be playing the World Cup in Australia.
See, I already made that clear. I would have Ravindra Jadeja at number six, just taking his performances in Australia. Last time around when we played a T20 season, one day series in Australia, this guy came to bail us out so many times, Ravindra Jadeja. And now Ravindra Jadeja is a 2.0 version of cricketer. He is as good as a Ben Stokes, Shakib Al Hasan, or anybody in the world. He can offer you equally with the bat and also with the ball. Sanjit rightly mentioned about him taking time initially, but then he can make it up. He can absolutely make it up. He's one of those players who can absolutely take on any fast bowlers in the world. So I have an interesting theory because Venkatesh Iyer is still yet to be tested in number six against a quality pace attack. And looking at where the World Cup is going to be, it's going to be in Australia. You're going to face a quality Pakistan lineup, a quality Australian team. So you're going to be having a very tough road into the knockouts, right? So that's where I feel you need a ball. You need a batsman actually who can take down the fast ballers from ball one if you're batting at number six, number seven. But if you're having Ravindra Jadeja to bat number seven, also actually tinkers with the balance of the team. I would definitely love to have Venkatesh Iyer as well because now you are giving him the rope. Let it be there for 10 games, as Sanjit rightly mentioned, because it's unfair on a cricketer as well, right? You're giving him 2 to 3 matches, then saying, okay, you have to move away. That's one thing which I didn't like when Ravi Shastri, Virat Kohli era. They used to give very few chances to players, and they should take it away very quick as well. If you have a couple of failures, you're gone. That's one of the reasons why we lost the 2019 World Cup, for example. We didn't have a number four who had a longer route. I don't want to go into that discussion, but it's a similar manner of discussion what I want to bring over here. Because number six is a very crucial position in T20 cricket because that is where games are won for many teams. Number six, you need a solid batsman. And what Ravindra Jadeja could probably bring in is that spin bowling ability. He can probably give you 2 overs. I don't see Jadeja to be a 4 over bowler in T20 cricket. I don't see that at all
Oh,
because I don't see that. I'm seriously saying because in Australia, he's not a 4 over bowler at all. He is definitely a good bowler, probably in Indian conditions. We're looking at Australia, and but then now the question is who's going to bat number seven? If you're looking at the recent trend, Deepak Chahar has been batting number seven for India, and number eight, our tail becomes even more shorter. If you have, for example, Shardul Thakur can definitely handle with the bat. But then the question is, who are your spinners going into the World Cup? Are you going to play one spinner, which I'm sure that India only will play one spinner going into the World Cup, and if I know Rohit Sharma and how he will operate, I'm sure Venkatesh Iyer will bat at number six, Jadeja at seven. At eight, you will have a Deepak Chahar or a Shardul Thakur slash because they both can offer with the bat and the ball. At number nine, you will have probably a spinner. It could be Bishnoi slash Chahal, and you have Bumrah Siraj. This should be your lineup. Today's bowling attack, I was not happy at all. I remember telling to Jared earlier on saying that this looks like a very one-dimensional bowling attack. If this is going to be the bowling attack which is going to go to Australia, we're going to be taken all around because this bowling attack can work in a pitch which sticks. Rightly so. The Eden Gardens pitch was very sluggish earlier on. That's why you saw Harshal Patel's bowling sticking onto the pitch. Bhuvaneshwar Kumar actually getting away with slower balls, and also Deepak Chahar. If 120, 125 kilometers ballers are going to go to Australia with no swing, because Australian condition doesn't offer a lot of swing as well, we are going to be taken all around the park. So I'm a little afraid on that. I really want Siraj and also Bumrah to start very soon.
That's actually an interesting point you've made. I think for probably what Rohit Sharma went with was horses for courses, but then again, you're playing these matches with an idea, looking ahead. Do you think? And this is something probably which is not part of our discussion initially, but now that you brought this point, do you think India should try and doctor their pitches to kind of suit that fast pace, or do you think India should just play matches as it is and not change too much or tinker too much with the pitches?
Yeah, actually,
hmm.
for now, you are looking at wins just to get into the momentum. As you started off the show by saying that a win is a win, and that's what you want to get into. Good momentum can definitely help you go into a World Cup with a lot of confidence. If you ask me, we didn't go to the T20 World Cup with any confidence because we had a gap of 8 months between the last T20 we played and the T20 we played against Pakistan in the World Cup. That's where we actually got disjointed. Whatever you said, people had match practice in the IPL, etc. But when you play in when you play in a team atmosphere, when you play T20 cricket, it's always so important to come into a World Cup with a lot of experience and that momentum going into that World Cup. So we have T20 season against Sri Lanka now, then we have T20s against South Africa, T20 season against England, then the Asia Cup, which is also a T20 this time around. So we have so many T20s coming up. So by the time it's Asia Cup, you should be playing your proper 11, which will feature in that T20 World Cup. I think having an Asia Cup is a blessing in disguise because that's a multi-nation competition, and you're going to be facing Pakistan, you're going to be facing a good Bangladesh side, and Sri Lankan side is also not bad at all. So that's where you will get tested. And Afghanistan, let's not forget them, because they will test you as well with the kind of team they have in T20 cricket, especially. So I think Asia Cup will be the tournament which will actually, narrow things down and know these are the players who are going to bat in these positions, and this will be an exact starting line which will field in Australia. That tournament will decide what we are going to approach the World Cup with and who are the players. I'm sure that Surya will bat number five, number six. I'm still not sure. Venkatesh, I would like to say him because he's tall, he can play the pull shot well, he can cut the ball. These are two things you need in Australia. He ticks both the boxes, and he can actually play the spin well as well. In Australia, another thing is he going to be troubled by a ball which is 150 kilometers? That's something which I really like to see. Is he going to be troubled by really fast bowling? If he can actually take down, I would really like to see him finish the games. He should come at the 17th over and actually take our score to probably. He should probably score 30 or 15 balls, 30 of 17 balls. If he can give those kind of innings consistently, I would really have him in number six. Then I would say he definitely has a better technique than Hardik Pandya for sure, and that's the reason why I would have him at number six, because he's an opener.
All right, Sanjay, I'll come to you. And the question I have here is obviously, I mean, Indian batting. What do you think of the template that India is following? I mean, obviously Rohit Sharma tried. I mean, I need to know. I mean, this is something to be looking forward to. If Rohit Sharma is going to be playing in the same similar fashion, or was it the fact that he just wanted to continue his love affair with Eden Gardens and he just went into it and hit the pitch running? But do you think it is time? Like Abel mentioned initially as well, the 2007 World Cup, and T20 has come a long way since the 2007 T20 World Cup. The teams were unsure of what an actual title, what an actual target is. Do you think it is time that India actually tries to, emulate some of the other templates, like what in England does, or what West Indies actually is, what the ones actually brought that into the World T20 11. You go attacking from ball one. So do you think India should try and do that, or is it just because of the fact that they're playing in India and the fact that majority of the matches are in India, so they
Wait,
have
before
that kind
that,
of.
I'd just like to read out Rohit Sharma's recent scores in power play. Yeah, let me just read that out. Against Afghanistan in the T20 World Cup, 34 of 24 in the power play, 30 of 16 against Scotland, 32 of 18 against New Zealand, 10 of 10 where he got out against New Zealand, 39 of 17 against New Zealand, 38 of 16 in the power play against West Indies. These are his power play scores. So you're definitely seeing a change in template with Rohit Sharma. Now you can continue. Yeah.
But then I'll add to it, Abel. Do you think then that doesn't that make it difficult? Like I've seen this a lot in Indian commentators. They just say that if one batsman is going after the bowling, the other batsman should take his time, settle down. So now the question is, do you think Ishan Kishan was trying that, and then he just ended up unable to transition when Rohit Sharma went out? And do you think that is actually the right approach in a T20 game, where you would not try to
I'll
save wickets?
I'll 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 tell you whatever little cricket even I have played, whatever I have even seen. All right, it is when you play 20 balls, just looking to nudge the ball around. You cannot hit ball number 21 for six. That does not happen. Your hands don't open up, and you just find yourself in a position where now you've played a good amount of balls, and now even getting out is a problem, because if you get out, a billion people are going to comment saying, "Oh my God, wasted balls and did this and did that." So playing a risky shot is not on the table, all right? And actually going for something clean and just sitting down and just trying to just butcher a ball around is also not possible, because not able to open a hands now. So even if I think at an international level, even if Rohit Sharma comes to you and says, I'll start hitting the ball, you can take your time. It does not mean you just let him do all the scoring and just take singles and defend and do that. Bad balls have to be put out. If your strength is, taking a few chances against the spinners, you have to do it. I think where Ishan Kishan lacked was he just got so defensive and playing close to the body and just nudging the ball around and just making sure, he has wicket in place. He just, in those 15-20 balls, he just lost the whole thing. He just started he started to look so uncomfortable and so out of his element. I think Rohit Sharma realizes he's better than any of us. And I think Rohit Sharma knows that he cannot ask an Ishan Kishan to start hitting the ball like how he does. It is very important as a captain to know that if you have a certain kind of ability, it is best suited you do it, and don't teach it to somebody else so they can come and do it for you. As Rahul Dravid very famously said that when asked why Dhoni doesn't play at 3 and plays at 5 and 6, he said because you will get another person who can do what he does at 3, but you will not get someone who does what he does at 6. So if you're good at something, and if somebody else cannot do it, might as well you just do it instead of teaching it to somebody else. So I think Rohit Sharma is doing that, and
Yeah.
India have always struggled in the power play. I mean, Rohit Sharma has always been the person who takes his time, and Shikhar Dhawan has played his strokes subject to whether the ball goes to the field or not. We have always been a 40 or 41 for 0 or 1 in the power play. Very almost rarely have it hit that 60 run, 70 run mark, which England does. And when you hit that 60 run or 70 run mark, if you lose a wicket or two, run rate will never be a problem. But if you're 45 for no loss and you lose 2 wickets in 7 overs, that time you have to score and you also have to make the runs. With
Yeah.
India, a good thing as far as a template is concerned, I think Rohit Sharma has always been the kind of a person who gives a certain kind of position, a certain role to play, not the batsman.
Yeah.
Krunal Pandya, a number 4 for Mumbai Indians has to come and do exactly what a number 4 has to do. A number 4 has to rotate the strike, no matter what. If Krunal Pandya comes number 4, he has to rotate the strike. And he will have to till the 13th or 14th over. After that, he's ready to hit.
Yeah.
But if Krunal Pandya comes at number 7, he has to hit. There's no other thing to do. Whether it's over number 14 or over number 18. And number 7 has to hit. Rohit Sharma is very clear. He gives roles to positions and not players. He will do the same. Even as
Yeah.
far as the bowling is concerned, Rohit Sharma has always gone with 3 pacers and Hardik Pandya for Mumbai Indians.
Hmm.
He will do the same for India also. He
Yeah.
likes fast bowling, and India in this day and age is blessed to have a better breed of fast bowling than they've always had. They're also blessed to have a very good competition as far as the spin department is concerned. He
Yeah.
knows a few people outside do struggle to spin. He's
Yeah.
also wary that a leg spinner can spin the ball in Australia also.
I think you can take that question meanwhile. That question which we
Yeah,
have
I
on the.
mean, that is a question. I think we've discussed it partially, but I'll try to answer it in my
Really?
way. I think the reason for that is probably why India is looking at a little bit of batting, and both Chahal and Ravi Bishnoi don't offer that. But aside from that, what I'm coming to is the fact that a lot of leg spinners have done well in the Big Bash. So, do you guys think playing two leg spinners isn't a bad idea because they have big grounds at the end of the day?
Yeah.
And someone like a Ravi Bishnoi brings a variety. He's not entirely a Yuzvendra Chahal. And the thing with leg spin is the fact that since they're turning ball both the ways, it is not exactly the fact. It's not left hand, right hand, for example, is not an issue in that case.
Yeah.
What do you guys? What is your take on it, Sanjeev? To just add to what you've been already discussing.
I'll just say something. I really believe in this. Playing two leg spinners that bowl from the same hand is not the best thing, even though they provide two different things. And also, you all have seen Ravi Bishnoi play he's played today, okay, and he's played against a West Indies team. West Indian players have always had a problem to reach downward towards the ball. So the fact that he zips it, they always have the sense to hit the ball down the ground. If the ball does not have flight, there is always stuff to do. And it's not
Yeah.
this West Indian team. It comes from Brian Lara, who says that I cannot hit Anil Kumble because he zips the ball and he doesn't give me flight. I would
Yeah.
much rather bowl to a Shane Warne. Similar with Indian players also. They would find it easier to play a ball that just flies and gives them that time to move their feet and get into a position and defend the ball. They'll be more okay with it.
Yeah.
But as far as the Matthew Wade or Warner is concerned, they are so quick to get down on their knees and just smack the ball over mid wicket. Like Bishnoi will not stand a chance. If the ball doesn't spin a good amount, his bowling will not stand a chance. So I still believe if you want two leg spinners, they might as well, even if they have different styles to bring. It's better they
Mm.
bowl from different hands. One right-handed and one left-handed batsman. Kuldeep Yadav, for example, has troubled Warner. When the ball pitches at leg stump and then is coming outward to David Warner, I mean, he plays the reverse sweep well, and yes, Glenn Maxwell is great at the reverse sweep. He can change. He'll even just sit and cut the ball left-handedly. So does Warner sometimes right-handedly. But that's once in a while. They have troubled these batsmen very often. T20s, may it be T20s, even English players for that matter. If you don't give them flight, they are very comfortable to hit you. But if you give them that flight, they always struggle. So as far as it really depends, Bishnoi by no means. I mean, I could see, Bishnoi, like I said, Bishnoi can challenge Chahal's place. He already is actually to a little extent. But the fact that he bowled so well today, you should know that West Indian batsmen have always had a problem from the beginning to reaching downward towards the ball because they hit down the ground and they are less likely to just get on their knees and slog the ball with a fine leg, or like how Rohit Sharma did today, or maybe how Surya Kumar Yadav tried to do.
Yeah.
It's slightly rare that they do that, but yeah,
Hmm.
it can be a good combo. I mean, even bad combinations work well sometimes. I mean, that's something to say. But it's I would always have one right-handed leg spinner and one left-handed leg spinner.
Yeah. Yeah, I also feel the same because if you look at leg spinners and if they both playing together in a T20 World Cup, it really affects the balance of the team. T20 is such a format where balance plays a huge role, and these both don't offer with the bat at all. Then you're talking about two pacers. If you're putting Bumrah also in the lineup, then you're saying your batting ends at number 8, or then if you have Siraj as well, then you have a longer tail with these two in the lineup. That's why I feel in Australia they'll go with one spinner, a spinner which is probably tried and tested alongside Jadeja. Jadeja will be a second spinner more or less. That's why maybe Chahal will get the nod because Chahal has done well in Australia. At the same time, Chahal's kind of bowling really suits Australian conditions. He'll get that extra bounce. He'll also be able to get that extra purchase. In Australia, you'll have to really zip it through, to get that extra
And
purchase.
Chahal is a very smart bowler. I
Yeah,
mean, I mean, I don't. I think a lot of people give him that credit. Ashwin
yeah,
is Ashwin's very intelligent. Will never take that from him. But Chahal has good experience and he really thinks his ball through. So
yeah.
he's always, even on the not best of his days, he's still very decent, and he'll always be slightly lethal. He thinks his ball through.
Hmm. Have you closed the doors for Ashwin limited overs cricket? Okay, that's a very good question because Ashwin was brought back into the T20 setup by India in T20 World Cup. After that, he was given a series at New Zealand. Then he went to the tour of South Africa. So I didn't understand what was Ashwin's role because Ashwin can definitely offer a little more with the bat, and he brings in a mystery plus a classical off spinner. That's what Ashwin brings into the table in T20 cricket. That's a huge bonus. I still feel the doors are not closed for Ashwin when it comes to T20 cricket, but in one day cricket, definitely yes, because one day game is really looking for spinners who can pick up wickets, and Ashwin didn't look a potent threatening wicket taker at all because he was being very defensive with his lines. Maybe in T20 you can still get away. Being trying to be more defensive means you're creating the pressure. Probably a bowler from the opposite end can take wickets. T20 is such a format that you can still be a defensive bowler and you can thrive forward. For example, Varun Chakravarti is not an attacking bowler at all. He's a defensive bowler. For example, Rashid Khan struggles in Test cricket just because he's a defensive bowler. He is not done as well as he's done in T20 in one day internationals or in Test cricket because he's a defensive bowler. He bowls in a quicker pace and he looks to actually contain runs. And through his pressure, through the pressure he creates, he gets the wickets. That's the same thing with a lot of bowlers across in limited overs cricket and T20 cricket. So Ashwin's doors maybe not yet closed in one day cricket in T20 cricket, but in one day I really feel doors are pretty much shut for him. Now you're looking at Chahal and also you brought in Kulcha combo back into the limited overs setup. Maybe there's a definite plan for Rahul Dravid and Rohit Sharma to look towards them and also maybe at times play them both together. So that's what I feel on that.
Sanjay, you have a take on that?
No, I don't have take on that, but I'll just emphasize a little on the name you mentioned. A lot has been spoken about Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma by us, by a number of people. I just find myself really, how do I say, very curious to know what does Rahul Dravid have in mind. He's definitely not a dummy, right? That's probably India's greatest test number. Definitely India's greatest test number three.
Yeah.
Previously, also India's best limited overs number three
Hmm.
until somebody else came up. So he's obviously not someone. I mean, as far as cricketing knowledge and everything is concerned, probably supersede everybody who's ever been in the dressing room.
Hmm.
I'm sure he has some kind for somebody who wasn't who didn't have international T20 by his side, but did
Hmm.
very well as far as Rajasthan Royals T20 franchise was concerned.
Don't forget
I'm
those
sure
three
he has.
sixes he smashed on his T20 debut, I think, against Sumit Patel, was it? Sumit Patel, where he smashed three sixes in a row in
I
England.
guess I guess it was Samit.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not very sure,
yeah,
but
yeah.
Of course, his batting has never been in question, but I just still just sit and wonder that Rahul Dravid definitely has, of course, he has a say, but there is some sort of thinking he comes with too. And Rahul Dravid has always been this sort of, unsung captain between Sachin and Kumble and Dhoni. Like, he's done anything and everything that the team has asked him to do.
Yeah.
And yet again, he finds himself in a position where he needs to do something for the team just through somebody else this time. If only it were for him, he would call back his retirement and go bat number four. But since that doesn't look the best option at the moment, I mean, I really want to put this question out for both of you all. I just really wonder, what do you all think? What must be his approach? Would he want to just go the way Rohit Sharma is? Because he's definitely not Rohit Sharma's puppet. He will have a few things to say. I just wonder what it is, what his inputs may be.
I have an interesting take on this. When Rahul Dravid was a captain during the Greg Chappell era, there was a lot of issues around the team. If you talk about the
Absolutely.
rift with Ganguly had with Greg Chappell and Rahul Dravid taking Greg Chappell's side, all these things you saw it turn out in a very bad way. It resulted in us slumping out of the group stage. Now, if you look when he took over as a coach, now what is the rift? Kohli versus Ganguly. It's almost the same. Whenever Rahul Dravid takes over, I don't know what there's something. I don't. I'm not saying that he was the reason behind the rift or anything, but there is something which is happening which is not wrong when it comes to that position. He's definitely a great coach when it comes to nurturing cricketers in terms of bringing out some of the finest talents what you see in international cricket right now, and some of the best youngsters have all benefited out of his coaching. He definitely has a say, but is he a person who can actually take some bold decisions? That's my question. Is this because we have seen Ravi Shastri do it? Ravi Shastri has done it quite a few times, and he's got backlash for it, but it has worked out as well. For example, Ashwin being dropped in England was one of the biggest bold decisions, I believe, and there was a lot of howl and cry around that. And for example, many bold decisions Ravi Shastri taking, but is Rahul Dravid a person who's going to go out there and say to probably a Ganguly or Rohit, see, Virat Kohli is not giving us runs. Let's look beyond. Is he going to call that? That's my biggest question because a coach is as big as a captain, I feel. Or coach and
He
captain
would
should be on the same page.
he would I don't think he would call it anything of that sort, because Rahul Dravid is always given space. He's always given time to players, even as captain. And
Hmm.
even as Rajasthan Royals captain and mentor, he's always given players that time. It
Hmm.
could be anybody from James Faulkner. Of course, they didn't win it under when Rahul Dravid's coaching, when Shane Watson and stuff played through, but they weren't having the best of times. He's always given that time. Ajinkya Rane never was, the centurion kind of guy at T20 guy. He has been given that time by Rahul Dravid, and Rahul Dravid is a person who invests in players day in and day out. Like we said, MS Dhoni has his door open at all times. You can just go win. And as far as Ravi Shastri is concerned, the channel might get a lot of backlash if I say this,
Yeah.
but you were the number one test team for 5 years, agreed. But what did we win? Did we win out? Yes, we did. How much did Virat Kohli contribute?
Hmm.
Right? If I mean, even I am of the opinion, when we won the first series against Australia, there was no Steve Smith and David Warner. They've done a bulk of the scoring. There was no Labus Khagne. I mean, they have done the bulk of the scoring at that time.
Yeah.
So what really mattered was the series after that. We were
Yeah.
30, we went 36. We were 36 all out. What
Hmm.
happened after that? We went on. We won the series. Everybody did well. Ravi Shastri came out to say that this is Virat Kohli's team and it is rubbed off Virat Kohli's skin.
Hmm. Hmm.
This is for me was taking credit away from someone who had really toiled in something. Winning in Australia is not easy, and I don't think I need to tell Ravi Shastri and Virat Kohli that.
Hmm. Hmm.
But you
Hmm.
gave the credit to somebody who wasn't there in most of that rebuilding and fight back, which I am not a fan of. And that will not happen when Rahul Dravid sits here or even Rohit Sharma sits here.
Hmm.
Apart
Hmm.
from that, how many multinational tournaments have you taken home? How many multinational tournaments has Rohit Sharma sat out in? None. How many
Hmm.
did Virat Kohli miss something like the Asia Cup? Yes, he did.
Hmm.
This will not happen under Rahul Dravid's reign. I mean, Rahul Dravid is like that. He's like the class monitor who will always take the teacher's side.
That's
You know,
correct. Yeah.
yeah, he is that person, and such people are very principled. I mean, you might need rest, then don't play Sri Lanka, but you will
Yeah.
play the Asia Cup. And
Yeah,
I think even Virat Kohli at this point is not in a position to take a fight against him.
yeah, that's
So
true.
I feel, and even Rohit Sharma is not a person who would let key players miss. This has always been the case. People talk about Rohit Sharma captaining in weak teams, which I agree. They are weaker than the usual oppositions. But he
Hmm.
also plays a tier three side. You don't give him the best bowlers. You take away good middle. You don't play Hardik Pandya when Rohit Sharma captains. You don't play Jasprit Bumrah when Rohit Sharma captains. Shikhar
Hmm.
Dhawan makes a comeback when Rohit Sharma captains. But he still consistently gives you those results.
Hmm.
At the end of the day, you still get up and stand and question the ability of a person who has won 7 T20 titles and an Asia Cup, and
Yeah.
to try and put him down against someone who has not won anything noticeable in a in a multi-nation white ball league.
Hmm.
So that I feel will not happen. I just really want to know that how much does Rahul Dravid interfere in this process? Because the cameras will always be at Ravi Shastri. They aren't as much as Rahul Dravid. They are a little, but let's face it, Rahul Dravid is a bigger personality than Ravi Shastri, and I'm pretty sure it's for that. How animated is he? What calls is he taking? Today we saw Rohit Sharma get out, come outside of the boundary rope, and point his finger, say Virat, Virat, like ask Virat to go. I mean, if
I
Ravi
don't know if it
Shastri
was
would have,
Virat or it was someone else. I think it was someone else, if I'm not wrong, because Virat was already
as
out
far
on the
as I
ball.
could, as far as I could,
The
yeah, as
only
far as I
call
could
that
lead his lips to look like
sorry,
Virat, I don't know. Could have been
it
some,
was
but
someone
if
else.
it was that, yeah, how many shots does Rahul Dravid get to call? And if at all he's calling, I'm pretty sure they come from a place of a very stout principles, and
Hmm.
discipline is going to be key. Rahul Dravid makes players something similar to what the Mumbai Indians does, or you
Hmm.
know, he's made a great crop of 119 players. The NCA that is currently run by VVS Lakshman is practically set up by a Rahul Dravid,
Hmm.
giving you from giving Nehra, Zahir Khan, and Yuvraj Singh. Of course, Ganguly was the captain then, but every
Hmm.
time when you know, he was the person who would make sure that these guys aren't dropped,
Yeah.
teaching everything,
Yeah,
just keeping
absolutely.
them involved. He's
Absolutely.
always done that. So I mean, and at this point, my only fear, or my question is, has Virat Kohli lost all his say in a team?
I don't think so because that's what they said in the press conference, saying that they are all part of leadership group, and I believe so because you saw that in the
He
one
said
day
it.
as well. They were all, Rohit Sharma was ready to go and communicate with them on the field, yes, but I don't know about team selections. I don't know about tactical calls. He definitely doesn't have a say. I'm pretty sure about that because once you step
Yeah, I'm
out,
pretty
right?
sure he
When you
doesn't
step
have a say in team selections.
when you talk about
Does the
Rahul
sec-
Dravid, I believe so. He has say. Definitely, he has say because you're seeing that in certain players getting a lot more confidence in under this management, right?
Absolutely,
It's more like
absolutely.
a Rahul Dravid run kind of a team as well. You're seeing that you're seeing a more players like Rahane and Pujara, for example. I believe if there was a Ravi Shastri era, they both wouldn't have played South Africa series. Rahul Dravid gave them a longer route just to see if they perform. It was more a Rahul Dravid kind of a decision. Same thing with,
And
for
who is to
example,
say who
yeah,
is to say that the rope has ended? So that
yeah,
might just keep going.
yeah. You never know. You never
Yeah.
know. We don't know because Pujara and Rao. If tomorrow Rahane goes on to score 100 for Mumbai against Saurashtra,
Exactly.
and Pujara also scores 100 tomorrow, next series is at home against Sri Lanka, and who better to
If
actually give them the confidence?
playing playing Shane Watson throughout the league was gamey till he came and played that knock, right? So
Yeah.
for a player of that quality, eventually that knock will come. But it's just that like these guys have to cop the criticism till that point comes, and
That's
how
how you
much are
build
they
a
willing
team.
to cop?
That's how you build a team. If you
Exactly.
look at the rest of corporates as well, corporates nowadays, you will say that you have the knife on your neck all the time. But still, if you're a fresher, if you're going to step into a corporate, I'm just giving a totally different analogy. But still, if you're going to step in, you're going to get the leeway. You're going to make mistakes. They're going to be with you. That's why you get a training period for that. That's why I feel someone like Venkatesh Iyer, Surya Kumar Yadav, all these guys will only benefit because they'll get a much longer rope. And that's the reason I'm a little afraid that Bhuvneshwar Kumar won't be dropped in the T20 World Cup squad.
Actually,
Yeah.
Abel, that's exactly where I was coming to. So, you've spoken extensively about India's batting. And I'll
Hmm.
bring two stats. And like, I'll want you to focus on the bowling part of it. But the fact is, India's not been good at power play. And I'm not going to take a big sample, probably not a good sample of stats to take as well. But
Mm.
in the World Cup, in the T20 World Cup,
Yeah.
India's been a bad power play team. And the reason why I say that is because when it comes to batting, India's average power play score is 35, 36, and India is losing 2.5 wickets. Right.
Yeah.
In comparison to that, India is giving away 7.3 runs per over, which is not bad, to be very honest. But if you look at the other teams, India's actually done bad, and Australia is the only team who's done worse than them. And India's only taken 1 wicket in the power play. And I'm speaking
Mm.
about even the lower tier teams,
Mm.
not
Mm.
just the higher tier teams, even the lower tier
Mm.
teams. Now, if you look at the squad, you see Jasprit Bumrah, you see Mohammad Shami. Bhuvneshwar Kumar was rated very highly as a power play bowler.
Mm. Mm.
What do you think India is going to do to solve this conundrum now? Do you think India's done it with the batting, with Rohit Sharma batting the way he is? But now, what do you think about bowling?
Batting,
Specifically
batting
bowling.
is still a place where you can actually, compensate. Rohit Sharma has the ability. For example, you can see that Ishan Krishna has the ability. KL Rahul, all these people have the game. It's about telling them, see, play more brave. Don't worry about your wicket. You got nothing to lose. You have not won a tournament in 8 years. If you don't win another one, nobody's going to
Hmm.
talk anything much because you've seen the worst now already. I think T20 World Cup 2021 was the worst. You can't be worse than that. Right. So you've hit the rock bottom. From here, the only way is up. So I believe that's the reason Rohit Sharma has changed his approach. And KL Rahul also will feel much more a free player when he is given the opening role. I'm sure that these both will be the opening pair to watch out for in the T20 World Cup. I'm calling it an early shot. If these both are fit and ready, these both will be the pair to watch out for in the T20 World Cup as well. But my problem with the bowling is if you're going to really stick with Bhuvneshwar Kumar for another World Cup, I'm not sure what you're going to get out of an Australian pitches. I might be totally proven wrong, and I'd love to be proven wrong. But I would like to see someone like a Mohammad Siraj. Uh, Mohammad Siraj, who's done well, who's been doing well, who has got the death bowling ability, is quick. Then alongside him, a Deepak Chahar. Deepak Chahar, just because he can swing the ball up front. That's why I won't even have a Shardul Thakur because Shardul Thakur is still a player who I feel can go for runs, but is not a new ball bowler, right? With Deepak Chahar, what happens? He can give you that opening burst, and from there on, probably Siraj can take over, or Bumrah can take over in the middle overs, then with your spinner and your second spinner. So that's where I feel right now you should look beyond Bhuvaneshwar Kumar because he's not going to offer you much with the bat as well. You should have your second bowler, your third bowler, who should offer you a little bit with the bat, and that's why I feel Deepak Chahar should be our third preference in terms of pace and pace bowling ability. Even Shardul Thakur is not a bad option at all if you are giving him the new ball because he can still shape the ball a little more better. And when it comes to wicket taking, once Bumrah and probably Siraj operates, I believe there'll be a lot more wickets because these both can actually pile in the pressure. We saw it in one day cricket. Recently, one of the biggest problem which we had was not picking up wickets in one power play in one day cricket. Now what happened? Siraj and Prasidh Krishna came, and all of a sudden you're seeing their opposition three down, two down, which is absolutely great. So which means when spinners are coming into ball, you have two new batsmen. It's gonna take a lot of time for the new batsmen to rotate strike against spinners as well. Now talking about T20 cricket in specific, even if you don't lose a wicket in T20 cricket, if you can control the rate to 5, 6, 7, it's still good. But then middle overs you should be able to take wickets. Do we have the spinners for that? I believe Chahal is the option. In T20 World Cup, we went Varun Chakravarti. I'm still baffled by the decision because seeing IPL performance and going with Varun Chakravarti. Remember, Varun Chakravarti had Narayan to support him. In Indian team, he was a sole spinner who was going alongside Jadeja, who has. That's why I said Jadeja is not a 4 overs bowler in T20 cricket. You should be able to take that. Even Dhoni doesn't use him 4 overs. Dhoni is one person who trusts him the
I
most.
think
He doesn't use
Abel,
him.
you cannot say that about Dhoni because Dhoni has like 8 spinners in his team, so you
Yeah,
might
but
Exactly.
not see a lot of him go for 4 overs.
on a day, see, on even a good day with Jadeja has, he only bowls 3 overs for Chennai Super Kings. I'm not even joking. Go check the record. Go check all the matches Chennai has played. Probably I remember one of the matches against RCB where he absolutely had a great day with the bat and with the ball. That's the only day I remember him finishing his quota of 4. Otherwise, most of the days I would, you don't see Jadeja bowling 4 overs. So he's your sixth bowling option actually. In India, you're not blessed with that actually. In Chennai Super Kings, you're blessed with 8 bowling options. In India, he's your second spinner. That's why I feel somewhere or the other, India should really sort out who our second spinner is going to be and who our premium spinner is going to be. Is it Ashwin or is it Chahal? If it's Chahal, give him all the backing, play him all the matches. Yeah.
So I would like to take the question of not me. I think it's not exactly in the line of what we're talking about, but I think one thing is probably one thing we've noticed is leg spinners have really risen in terms of
I'll
wicket.
take one second. I'll take the Gregory right after this. We'll come
Yeah.
to that point as well. Yeah.
So I think my point here is I think what I see is the fact that in red ball cricket team captains are looking for more. And I'll be very honest, I think spinners, proper test spinners are reducing. Nathan Lyon and Ashwin are probably the last generation where we're seeing the reps and the turn and the guile. You're not seeing a lot of test spinners. I'm really upset about it because I
Yeah.
love seeing test spinners. I think Keshav Maharaj is another one. But the reason
Mm.
why leg spinners have disappeared is because no leg spinner ever since Shane Warne has had the control to, in test cricket, you have to keep hitting probably 20, 23 deliveries on the same spot before your 24th delivery is your wicket taking delivery, which moves away or which does something different.
Mm.
And that is what is lacking, I think. I'm not saying leg spinners are completely out of red ball cricket. Things change. You might see leg spinners come up there as well. But for now, I think this is the reason why. But I think that is my take on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Sanjit, you want to have a go on that as well?
I mean, it's like leg spinners at this point of time have been just channeled to, you know, I don't know. I mean, of course, I won't compare anything to someone like a Shane Warne because that was very different. But we are not. I mean, it should be more surprising that fast bowlers are getting into the into the helm of wickets, and like for example, Anderson getting that many wickets should be surprising. A leg spinner or off spinner for that matter should be much more often reaching to such milestones, especially from the subcontinent. Sri Lankan, Bangladeshi, Pakistani, or Indian spinner actually expect to see something a lot more, but accuracy is missing, and I feel this is something or the other to do with white ball cricket and the emphasis on T20 and all of the other stuff. Because a T20 ball, because bowling leg spin in a T20 game and bowling leg spin in a Test match are two very different things. And I feel in the whole conundrum of variations and changing pace and deciding which balls to bowl your googly in. I mean, just uh, like if you hear a couple of stories of cricketers, from the previous times, they would always say that when if Shane Warne bowled, you could hear the ball whizzing through. If a Harbhajan
Mm.
Singh bowled, the ball would zip through the air. You would get that noise when it just touched your bat. And
Mm.
I don't
Mm.
think that happens anymore. I
Yeah.
mean, that kind of control and that release, I mean, because at those times, maybe what a
Well, let's be
leg spinner or
honest.
not.
How many great leg spinners have played Test cricket? One,
True.
two. Kumble was not a conventional leg spinner.
Kuble was pretty much, a guy bowling
How many
leg
how
cutters.
many great leg spinners have played Test cricket? Are you going to say Stuart McGill was a great? No,
In
I
fact, if
can't
I'm not
remember
wrong,
many.
Stuart
in
McGill's
fact,
competition, he's like the Dinesh Karthik of
is
that's very.
if I'm not, even that's actually an interesting point. If I'm not wrong, Stuart McGill is I think third or fourth highest Test wicket taking leg spinner, which is pretty
Yeah,
baffling.
In Australia, yes, he is. See, in Australia, you had a set kind of ballers who was always going to ball, and I don't know when did Stuart McGill even play. I'm quite surprised now. If he is, then he played quite a lot of games. But if you look historically, there were not much ballers who could play. I don't know Paul Adams playing for South Africa for quite a bit. He was a Chinaman bowler, but not a lot of leg spinners have ever had success in Test cricket. When you compare Anil Kumble, he was successful because he was not a conventional leg spinner. Only you, every time you have a comparison about leg spinners, you always turn back to only one bowler. It is Shane Warne. You can say Mushtaq Ahmed of Pakistan was good. You can say who else? Who else? I'm not getting the names right now. I don't know. I have to probably 1980s. Probably you might have had Lakshman Shivaramakrishnan for India. Chandrasekhar for India was the only good spinner after Anil Kumble in leg spin in terms of Test cricket. He won his games across formats, especially in Test cricket in away from home. So that's only leg spinner I remember. In Test cricket, it's always been control, and it's so hard to find leg spinners with control. I think Adam Zappa can be a great Test bowler, but he's not been tried yet. That's one reason. I think we'll take a last question now before we end it. Jaren,
Yeah, I think
Also in
I
PSG.
mean,
Oh, dang.
so I've been just going over the top 10 wicket takers I mean, Test wicket takers, and I see only Anil Kumble and Sunil Mohan there. I mean, not
yeah.
Sunil Mohan. Sorry, Shane Warne. Beg your
Mm,
pardon. Shane Warne
mm,
and Anil Kumble are the only two people there, and I think for me, Anil Kumble was successful because he was tall, lanky. He would ball those leg cutters sort of leg spins, which would pitch up and bounce and get that instead of the turn. But
yeah.
yeah, I think a final question, and since Abel is our resident football expert, I'll just give it to you. Gregory Matthew asks, "What do you think of PSG winning? against Real Madrid.
Well, it's a huge result for PSG, I would say, because
Who
the kind of
scored?
game, yeah,
Give
the
us,
kind of
give
game.
me a summary.
Yeah, I would say, the one thing which I really loved about PSG was they were looking to press yesterday. They were playing more brave than what you usually see of PSG. Mauricio Pochettino was criticized because he was playing low block, not trying to play more aggressive kind of football with the attacking team. So yesterday yesterday he put an end to all those things. They were pressing, and one thing which I was disappointed from Real Madrid as well, they became a low block and they were looking to get a draw. It probably could be because the away goal rule is removed from UCL now. The teams who will play away from home will look to actually manage a draw, then actually let them come home and score from there on. But it's not a good thing at all for football. It's going to make games. If you're seeing a 13-time UCL win championship team is going to play in such a manner, keeping a low block against a PSG who looked a lot more vulnerable, and they are vulnerable at the back. If you have the likes of Vinicius Junior, Karim Benzema, Asensio, and with the creative playmaking of Modric, if you're going to play with a low block, then I'm afraid that Real Madrid is not going to make a comeback. And another big issue with Real Madrid right now is Carlo Ancelotti being very stubborn in terms of rotating his squad. You're seeing the Trimurti, as I will call, in terms of Casemiro, Cruz, and Modric. They've been playing forever right now. They're not getting a single game off. You have a Camavinga, Federico Valverde on the bench, but they are not even tried out. You can say Carlo Ancelotti is like a Dhoni who doesn't like to experiment a lot. He sticks on to his level, but in football, it can get to you. It will get a toll onto you because these are midfielders covering ground every day. They're covering 14 kilometers per match. So therefore, you cannot let these players play week in and week out. So I believe now going into the second leg, one of the main important things what Carlo Ancelotti would have to do is to give rest to these players and make sure they recoup and get well. So his focus should be on the second leg rather than La Liga. Though La Liga they have a 4 point advantage, I still believe Kamenga and Federico Valverde can do the job because the opposition they'll be coming against are not going to threaten the match as probably a PSG in second leg would do. And Real Madrid can probably, it's just a 1-0 lead, right, with PSG. So they can come back. There's no doubt about it. But it all depends on how much they are going to give their midfielders rest because Real Madrid's game depend totally on Modric, Cruz, and Casemiro. Because tomorrow we'll be doing a podcast on this, guys. So don't miss out on that. Don't miss out on that. Tomorrow we'll be doing an intensive podcast on the UCL because tonight we have a game on Liverpool versus Inter Milan as well. Tomorrow will be a football podcast. We'll have a couple more guys as well. We have another panelist called Anthony. He'll be joining us, and hopefully Michael from Australia, and hopefully Sanjeet as well with his footballing knowledge.
Ali,
What do you think,
catch
Sanjeev?
me in the comments asking lame questions.
Actually, that's pretty much me and Sanjeev's strike partnership tomorrow in the
Hey, that's a very
comment.
interesting question, guys. Let's take this. This is very interesting, right?
I think not me. I'll personally take this. I think that means I have a future in IPL, maybe. But it's
Yeah.
nice.
I mean,
It's
this opens a different avenue to cricket because now you're seeing scouts actually going everywhere and noticing what a bowler can do in T20 cricket. He has not played a single game in professional or representative cricket. He's not played district level. He's not played any game with a cricket ball. You could say all what he has done is score a 10 ball 50 in a tennis ball tournament and probably have some mystery with tennis ball. But can he convert that into cricket ball? That's a big question. But then now you don't know if anybody's watching your game. If you're playing a tennis ball cricket, you don't know. It could be a scout from any of the big teams, and that's actually good. It's a different avenue which just opened up in cricket, and I believe he got selected because of his bat swing. They kept a bat swing measurement thing on his bat handle, and they found his bat swing to be better than most of the players across the world. So that's a great plus point, and he's a mystery spinner. He's called as the left arm version of Sunil Narayan.
well, not me. I really would love to see you in the IPL. Hope you give us a shout out when you get a match. But I suppose that's it for us today. We'll be coming back to you on a football podcast. As I mentioned, Abel will be there. Definitely, we'll have Anthony feature as well, and you'll have Sanjit and me in the comments giving them a tough time. So I hope you've enjoyed the day. I hope you've enjoyed our analysis. We obviously
I
going to be
enjoyed
coming
it.
back to you guys.
Yeah,
West Indies and India still have a long way to go in the series. Hoping to see some competition from West Indies as well. Looking forward
yeah,
to see you guys again. Thank you so much for
yeah.
joining us.
I don't think they compete though. They either just come and just let it be, or they're gonna butcher us. They only play two games, and I feel the
But
butchering is gonna come probably next match.
Yeah, maybe can they go for bowlers and tennis ball cricket like KK went for batsmen? Yeah,
Hello,
absolutely.
my guy. I like. Look, I have a very like bad opinion on this. But as far as somebody who really appreciates a nice tennis, sorry, a nice, as much as I love to play tennis ball or cricket, season ball cricket is different, and there is practically either like the quality control, everybody resigned together in the IPL committee or
But
something of that sort has
Sunny,
happened.
my question is, in Pakistan, you saw Waqar Yunus get picked by Imran Khan because of tennis ball cricket. And
Absolutely.
actually, this is a very good thing for debate because we are looking to end the show. We have to catch college tomorrow. So we'll end the show here. So I would say, not me, please join us for this debate on Saturday evening or Friday evening. After the
Then
India's match, we'll be going for this exact debate. Catch us live. The agenda is right here. Can tennis ball cricketers make it to IPL? Here it is, guys, as we end the show.
good night, guys.
Good night.